guess.
Holy shit, Kevin!
Wow. What?
You get this only nowhere else but the Kevin is after that. Kevin, I'm not gonna lie.
Now we're not at this. A carved penguin. There it is. There it is.
Oh no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I was so embarrassed.
Okay. The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the ball.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birch Fish!
How about that?
Birch Fish fans, stand up! We did it!
What can I say? What can I say?
I'll give it to him. The Baltimore Orioles, I've asked them multiple times to stop disappointing us each day, and today they switched it up. They disappointed us twice. Orioles get swept by the Detroit Tigers in the doubleheader. This is just another day of sitting and waiting for the offense to show up with runners in scoring position. And yet another day where time after time they fail to do so. I mean, you can go across both games. Go be completely transparent with everyone. I watched on my phone for 90% of this. I know Kevin didn't watch much. Every time I looked, we had runners on. We had guys in scoring position and couldn't do anything with it. This team looks dejected. I can tell you the fan base is dejected. But here they are, 26 games into the season. You're sitting at 10-16 in a division and a league in the AL where there are a lot of good teams. We talked about all offseason. The AL was wide open. The AL was really, you could name 8 or 9 teams that could compete for the pennant when it's all said and done. We talked to Ben McDonald before the season, and he straight up said, you can't start this year slow. You can't start this year on the wrong foot and fall behind. This is in this division. When you're going up against the Yankees, you're going up against the Red Sox. I mean, Yankees are 15-11, Red Sox are 15-14. The Orioles are lucky they're only 5 games back right now. The Orioles are very lucky after everything that's happened so far this year that they find themselves just 5 games out of first place. Now, 26 games into the season, you don't want to say you're 5 games out of first place already. But for what it could be, if they were sitting in the Central even, or hell, if they were in the NL where you have the Mets, you have the Padres, you have the Giants, Dodgers, all off to the starts that they've been off to. I mean, you'd be looking at 8 games right there. I know everyone's looking at firing Hyde. I know that's I open Twitter, and that's all people are talking about is firing Hyde. We're getting to the point where it's like, do I think that fixes everything? No. I honestly am not sure how much it actually fixes getting rid of the manager. But this early, clearly something's not working. So you probably have to, if it continues this way over the next few weeks, just a different voice. Maybe that's why you have to opt for it. Maybe just a different message. But if you think firing Brandon Hyde is suddenly going to bring this team to life, it's not going to. Yeah. And I agree. I don't think it would be anything would necessarily change approach analytics wise to the game, but firing Brandon Hyde at least would give you some sort of spark. But this is Kevin and Zach React. You're home for all Orioles post game shows. Have to bring on the other half. He's been doing draft coverage for like the past 72 straight hours. Hasn't slept once. Kevin Ostreicher.
Luckily, I've been able to sleep a little bit, but
Kevin,
yeah.
I'm proud of you. Kevin, 2 losses, 1 day.
I mean, I don't really know what you do anymore. I mean, it feels like the Orioles are content with being bad. I mean, we said Charlie Morton should never pitch again. Every 5th day is a loss. Maybe we should be running the team because
it's so funny. I love the Orioles. Like, remember when they do the classic, like, everything's on the table. They love when shit's hitting the fan and it's starting to spiral. Brandon Hyde and them love a good everything's on the table. It's what they were saying with Craig Kimbrell all last year. We got it from them after last start for Charlie Morton. And you know what the everything's on the table is they were like, let's try an opener. Maybe that's going to solve the problems. And Charlie did, like, let's call it is, at least from what I saw. Charlie didn't pitch atrociously. Like, it's not, I mean, if you score 2 runs, it's going to be hard to win the game anyway. But yeah, obviously the 3-run homer is the big one. It just feels like this entire team, Kevin, is just, they're dead in the water right now. It feels like there's no energy. There's no momentum over the past 5 months, you could say, probably going back to last year, probably more 3 months, 4 months. It's been just bad baseball. Like, it hasn't even been mediocre. It's been they're beating themselves. I mean, again today, let's see, what did they finish total with the runners in scoring position in game 2? They were 1 for 6, and I forget what they were.
Yeah. For a second, I forgot there was a game 1. I was so annoyed at Charlie Morton. They had a shot in game 1.
Yeah, and then 1 for 8. So 2 for 14 on the day with runners in scoring position. 9 left on base. 9 left on base in a 1-run loss in the game 1. They had so many freaking opportunities. And I understand, I think it was the 5th or 6th inning, I can't recall, in the first game. I even tweeted out. The Tigers defense saved probably 3 runs on an incredible diving play to stop Westbergs from going in the corner. They robbed Laureano for potentially a home run, probably would have been off the wall. But it was just, the Tigers did it when they got it done when they had to. This is just, this team, I'll give it to them. They're showing more life in the fact of they're getting guys in scoring position a lot, actually, like a ridiculous amount. It feels like they have like 9 or 10 opportunities a game, which is not normal. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter that you're getting 9 or 10 opportunities when you're getting 1 hit, like they did in each of it today. 1 hit's not going to do anything.
No, it's a lot more fun covering the draft and the Ravens on Locked On Ravens than watching this team play baseball, because it sucks the joy out of you, man. Like,
at least the draft, it's like hope. It's like, oh, new.
I know, and
players.
like I had 3 awesome lives. I was free of Orioles baseball. bonus episodes.
Welcome back, baby.
You gotta back to
2
reality.
losses
here.
On 1 day.
Right. Yeah. Can't get any better.
You got
than
away
this.
from this. Yeah.
Unreal.
Welcome right back. The Orioles saw the Ravens were having a good draft, and people were like, "Nice, Ravens are having a good draft," and they're like, "Absolutely not. We are not having this fan base have any sort of joy."
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is kind of the encapsulation of how people feel right now. I mean, I understand the frustration here from B-More. I mean, the organization needs to prove it, and we thought that, again, the clock was started when the Corbin trade happened, right? That's when the clock was started of, hey, they're going to make big moves. They're going to go out there and try their best to field the best team that they can. I mean, you can't tell me, and Zach, we talked about this in the offseason, like you can't tell me that their best course of action was signing 3 pitchers over 35 years old, one who is 41 years old, and say, all right, this is a better roster. Let's go out there. No, I didn't like that. I know you didn't like it either. It's just, and now that we're here, it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe 1 or 2 of those guys could have panned out. Like Tomo's been awesome for them this season. Like that was a fine move. But
Tomo
he's their ace right now.
Yeah.
But you can't continue that path over and over.
I tweeted out in February. I think it was like mid-February. I tweeted out Tomoyuki Sagano is going to mess around and become the ace of this club, isn't he? And I was going to quote tweet the other day, and then I was like, don't know if it's a good thing that this guy became the ace of the teams this fast, because is he pitching probably the best? Yeah. But also losing their top 3 guys is not the way I was hoping that he would. Yeah. That wasn't the way I was hoping he would find ace status on this squad. But he might be the only thing. Him and Povich might be the only thing keeping me sane right now in the rotation.
I mean,
and Dean Kramer's hair. I know people are very mixed feelings on Dean Kramer. Incredible hair. Brendan Young too today. Battled. I'll give it to him. Brendan Young battled again. From what I saw, the innings I was able to watch from him, it hasn't been pretty. He hasn't, it hasn't been efficient. That's for damn sure. It has been the opposite of efficient, but he is battling, and that's kind of what you're hoping to see. He improved 4 2/3, 95 pitches, only gives up the 3 runs. I mean, he's got a 6.23 ERA, but I'm not too concerned. He's kind of been thrown in a rough situation.
Here's the problem I have and continue to have, and I've been very vocal about this problem about the Orioles rotation. 1, they don't go deep enough into games, which I've talked about. I mean, obviously the opener in the second game, you're not really judging, I guess. I mean, Charlie ate 3 2/3, but I'm just reversing it. If we're being honest, I'm acting as if Charlie is the starter in this situation.
Yeah.
And Charlie only going 3 2/3 is still pretty annoying in my opinion. And then, in the first game, Brandon Young, yes, he battled only 4 2/3. Both these games today, you don't get a pitcher, or at least a starter, and I'm counting Morton as the starter in this game, that go at least 5 innings. Neither of them can get to 5 innings. And again, I get an opener as a different conversation, but regardless, it's this has been a conversation all year. And on top of it, part of the reason why these pitchers can't go deep into ball games is because they're walking everybody in sight. 14 walks in 2 games for the Orioles today. 14 walks.
Nothing good happens when you give away base runners. When you are allowing them a free base, listen, the Orioles aren't scoring. There are times where you can walk batters and your offense is going to pick up the slack, and maybe you win an 8-9 game. Maybe something like that happens. The offense is not in the position for you. Every run is crucial for you to be walking 2-3 guys in an inning and handing them runs. You're not going to win games. That is not where this team is to be able to give away runs right now. This isn't like the Dodgers. This isn't, the Padres, where if you give up an error, an unearned run here or there, maybe you go for the strikeout a few too many times and you walk 2 guys in an inning, you lose a few at bats. You give away a run. Okay, we're averaging, we're scoring 5-6 runs a game. We can allow that. The Orioles, if they fall, they fall behind 2, it still seems like game over right now. So that they're not in the position to go out there and allow this to happen, when they are walking guys. It kills the game.
That's the worst part of it, in my opinion, is it feels so lifeless. Again, it's not that they are losing, it's how they are losing. I mean, if this team was putting up a fight, it'd be such a different story of hey, they're not playing well. There are issues with the team, but at least they're keeping it competitive, or it feels like they're in the games. And look, the Orioles are having a ton of bad luck this season, whether it be injuries, hard hit balls, whatever, but that doesn't excuse the fact that it looks like a lifeless team right now. And yes, it's deflating when things like that happen consistently, but you have to be able, as a professional sports player, I'm sure Ryan will talk about this on Tuesday, or if he's lurking in the shadows, Maybe he'll pop on. I know he's always lurking, just like I am. But at the end of the day, like, even though stuff isn't going your way, you can't let it spiral. And that's what it seems. It seems like everything is spiraling for them. And a bunch of teams go through a bunch of different levels of adversity all season. The Orioles have certainly faced that this season, but it doesn't give them the excuse. And again, it's not just on the players here. I mean, this is everybody's fault. It's the players' fault. It's the coaching staff's fault. It's the upper management's fault. You know, whether you want to talk about Adley or Brandon Hyde or Mike Elias, everybody has a role to play. Now, I know there are differing opinions on who is more to blame, and that's, I think, a different conversation. But regardless, the Orioles made this bed, or they made it up for themselves. Now they have to lay in it. Where Elias didn't provide the proper resources for Brandon Hyde. Brandon Hyde is not deploying those resources. Not that he has a lot to work with, but he's not deploying those resources in a way that I think is best for the team in certain situations. And the players are not, a lot of them don't have their head in the game right now. And, you know, they're struggling and it's tough. You know, baseball, as much as it is, you know, physical, athletic, like all those traits and tools, it's as much of a mental game. And you can see guys just in their head right now. You know, for example, a big example of this is Westberg, where he was 0 for 30. He was able to get one down. And sometimes, you know, it's like the basketball analogy. By the way, Nuggets just drained the life out of me today. But
Kevin, what a win, though.
Yeah, except MPJ is going to be suspended, so that sucks. But because he left the bench during the fight, not allowed to do that. So, but in basketball,
win.
They're going to lose. But regardless, in basketball, they say all you got to see is one go down. All you got to see is one go down, and that is what it can take to break out of something for you. Westberg saw one big play, and now what is he's 8 for his last 21. Is that right?
Yeah,
something like
Westberg.
That. So, yeah,
something.
So yeah, but again, like he's now hitting again. So it's about having the mental toughness to get out of these slumps because these guys have talent. This is a talented offense, a talented team. They're not playing anything like this. Is the worst team in baseball right now. I have no problem saying that. This is the worst team in baseball right now. I don't care about the record. I don't care about some of the wins they've had. They are playing like the worst team in baseball. And it's that much more frustrating because of the expectations coming into the season. And again, those were tempered based off of how you felt about the rotation. And Zach and I made our thoughts pretty clear about that. But it's also just about the fact that, you know, yes, Colton's been a tough loss. The offense shouldn't look this way without Colton. It should be better.
No, 100%. And before we get too far, I did want to bring this up, Logan. Appreciate you. 3 things. One, I'm sorry you have to cover this organization. 2, Rubenstein's at the Yankee game to hear the booze. 3, Elias is licky his chops at this top 5 pick again. Start the rebuild. It feels like it could be one of those years, Kevin, where it really could be a down year. Matt, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Matt.
Becoming a member and then saying maybe our stars are just not what we thought. I don't necessarily think it's that. I mean, we've seen MVP play from Gunnar. Adley, we've seen the sparks from, not sparks, but we've seen the stretches from him. Maybe not the perennial all-star, MVP caliber at all times, but I think the talent is there. I think these guys are in a really big rut, like genuinely. I think this is just the whole team. And that's not something that you can easily get out of. But, Kevin, I wanted to bring up this question from Biohack because if we go back a year ago when they were on fire, remember, first team to 70 wins up till June, it was like, oh, this is the team to beat in baseball.
Long ago.
It feels like forever ago, but they were the team to beat in all of baseball. What do we think the biggest difference is? Kevin, this is going to sound such like I don't want to say a cop-out answer, but such like a, 13-year-old guy, it's the vibes, because it's not like what play. Okay, yeah, Corbin Burns, I guess Grayson, I guess the pitching staff. If you want to go on the field, Bradish going down sucked. You lose Burns, you don't have Grayson, so there's your top 3. But it just they don't seem like they're having fun. They don't seem like they're a competitive team going to win. They all seem like they're playing, just going through the motions right now.
When they were,
it's weird to say vibes are the difference, but it just feels like the mentality is completely different from last year. Last year, first half, it was we got a point to prove. Remember, coming off getting swept in the ALDS. No, this is personal. We're going to prove something. And then for the past 100 games, it's been gone.
Yeah, and the first part of last year and 2023, where you know they were that team, like they were the cardiac comeback kids. No lead for an opposing team felt safe, and it just feels like we're so far removed. In reality, we're 2 years, less than 2 years removed from that, when they were the team to win 101 games, win the AL East. And you're right, coming off that sweep in the LDS with the point to prove. And it feels like, with the pieces that are presented on the pitching staff, with the way the offense for the past, we're coming up on a year of them not being able to capitalize with runners in scoring. The difference between this year and last year is that they're getting more opportunities this year with runners in scoring position. It feels like last year, it felt like we would say, oh, they were 0 for 7 or 1 for 6 with runners in scoring. This year, it's like, oh, they were 3 for 15 or something like that, or they were 2 for 11. So it feels like they're getting more opportunities, and it's not just live and die by the long ball, which was a problem earlier. But at the same time, you still have games like that. And again, it's just like this offense. You score 3 runs in the game against Detroit in game 1. Guess where your runs came from, or at least the majority of them, 2 solo shots. So, I mean, it's just like you have an opportunity to compete. You have a window. And we were talking about how if everything went right for this organization, the window would be 10 plus years. Well, we've seen windows close very fast, not just in the MLB, but within sports. That Cubs team that won the World Series, everyone thought that was the next dynasty, man. They had everybody. Yeah. And then whether it was players falling off a cliff, injuries, whatever, just bad baseball, they were done in a hot second. They were out of there. So you have to capitalize when you can. And it felt like, again, the frustration is this offseason, they did not capitalize in the way that they could. Yes, Corbin wasn't coming back. But as we've talked about over and over and over again, they needed to have a contingency plan. And I don't just mean one. I mean like 8, 9. I'm talking plan D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all the way down. And it felt like they got to plan Z, and plan Z was, let's just bring in 3 starters over 35 and we'll call it a day.
It felt like, yes, it felt very much like, I don't want to say it was a panic, but I think they weren't expecting, obviously you never expect Grayson to go down. You don't expect Eflin to lose Eflin as well this early on in the season. But the biggest thing was, I feel like there were even better options, like in the panic plans. Like even the panic plans weren't their best. Like if you were going to go sign a 41-year-old, hell, Justin Verlander, like Scherzer's injured. I agree. I don't think you should have signed the 41-year-old to begin with, but if you're going to, at least get the best one. Like he wasn't even the best 41-year-old.
Or at least sign him and then have it. I'm not saying an ace, but at least have like a number 2.
Well, we were saying that you need the number 2. You needed they needed to make another Charlie Morton. I love if they would have gotten Sagano and even just re-signed Burns, or just gotten another or traded for Crochet, this rotation would look so different.
And they had the opportunity to trade for Crochet.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's the disappointing
and they should have.
part. Yeah, that's disappointing.
And they should have.
All right, let's do some call-ins here. We're going to keep them a little shorter tonight just because I have been, as Zach said, working for about 72 hours straight, and I am very dead, and Zach is
in Kentucky.
In some random state. So I don't even know what he's doing. He's trying to break the Orioles curse probably over there.
I'm trying. I just put the link in the chat.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to keep them shorter, probably a couple exchanges, and then we'll kind of keep it rolling here. Plus, I mean, this Orioles team is not very fun to talk about right now. But you know what? We show up here on Kevin and Zach React for Orioles post-game destination every single game, win or lose. Been a lot of losing recently. Hopefully we get some wins. But regardless, we're going to be here and show it for you every single game or after every single game. So hit that like and subscribe button in video form. And appreciate it.
Kevin, we also we debuted the new intro.
I saw. It's a masterpiece.
A new intro. Who does?
A lot of fun moments in there, but not a lot of fun moments for the Orioles.
Not a lot of fun moments.
So All right, let's get to our
Speaking of
first call in here.
tragedies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I think the meat slap honestly makes me probably look the worst. So it is. You know what? I do it for content. Anything within reason. But all right,
Love it.
let's get to our first caller. We got Poison Ivy Joe in the back. We're gonna bring him on. Joe, how you healing up, buddy?
It's getting better, guys. It's getting better.
All right,
We're
getting better. You know
better.
what? That's all you can. You know what? When I was younger, I had Poison Ivy and Poison Oak at the same time, so I understand what you're.
Of course
what
you
you're
did.
going through. It's
Of course
hell.
you did.
It's
But
hell.
we got one question, and it's not about the Orioles. Zach Bollinger, where have you been for 36 hours? The Ravens drafted a Marshall DN.
It's controversial, Joe. I mean, it is. It's. I'm glad it was a Marshall guy.
Come on.
I mean, we got 2 Marshall Thundering Herd guys on the Ravens now. So
Probably one by the time August rolls around, but
yeah, okay, Kevin, don't get rid of my boy Rasheen like that, okay?
dude, they took all 11 picks, man. There's not enough space.
I cannot
I'm
believe they
not
took
happy
all
with the
11.
pick because his name wasn't Landon Jackson, but that's beside
man.
the point.
Yeah, no Arkansas guys, Joe.
Could you imagine?
The Bills got Landon.
Could you imagine if the Ravens went Landon and then if Green dropped to him at 97?
You would have been going crazy. I know that.
That would have been.
See, this is
Yo,
what
the
the Orioles
Hogs
have done
win?
to
I mean-
us. This is what the Orioles have done to us. We're talking Ravens on it.
Did the Hogs at least win, Joe?
They did. They won. They beat Florida today. We're tied up going into tomorrow. So we got to get the series.
At least one team. Dude.
Good news is Clemson got swept. So that's the number 2 going down on the weekend. So if we win tomorrow, we should move up in those polls from 5 to probably 3. And tough. And 3 series going. I think it's 3. You got LSU, Texas, and Tennessee. So it's not an easy end of the season, but secure that top 8 seed and see what happens in postseason.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
And we'll see if you make it to Omaha this year, Joe.
But
Yeah.
but I'm glad you're alive, Zach. I thought maybe something happened.
I've been traveling, Joe. I've been traveling. I'm not gonna lie.
I put out the call.
Ravens got better.
They got better. That was top 3 draft. I mean,
Yeah, I was pumped about it. I was going a little crazy over on Lockdown Ravens. I'm not gonna lie.
but I even called you out last night when Kevin was live.
He
read it.
Zach,
I mean-
I was answering Joe's questions. We were having a good time over on Lockdown Ravens.
We were looking for you, buddy.
I'll have to make my debut one day.
Nowhere to be found. I'll tell you.
It's okay. You can. It's all right. Controversy or not.
Rocco is the resident Ryan Ripken Lockdown Ravens representative.
Yeah, I know. He's out here. All right, Joe.
Awesome.
You
We
know
got a
who
lot
you
of
have
calls
to
to
have?
get to after this.
You know who you have to have next season, right, Kevin?
Who?
We got to go across the pond. You got to have Nick on there.
That would be awesome, man. I'd love it. I'm planning some stuff for Locked On for the fall, so I need to figure stuff out, but that'd be fun. So
But
awesome,
yes.
Joe.
Well,
Awesome.
I've been working
Appreciate
outside
you,
all
Joe.
day. I thought that might bring the mojo back because last weekend I worked
I
outside.
don't know what's gonna bring the
One,
mojo back.
It did not happen. No poison ivy interaction today, so that's a positive.
That's a start. That's a start.
But yeah, the
Awesome.
dogs are. We're gonna pet the dogs and get them.
That's how you do
get
it.
'em all
That's how you
cleaned
do
up.
it.
So
Love it. Awesome, Joe. Well, appreciate you calling in as always. Streak lives.
streak lives,
Streak
fellas.
lives.
We'll
Mine is actually at 10. I've been on my TikTok game recently, but
we'll
All
talk
right,
to you
Joe.
tomorrow.
awesome.
We'll
All right.
catch you,
Peace
Joe.
out, Joe. Cool. We're moving and grooving.
Kevin, this is so depressing.
I know. It's tough.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to our next caller.
Half the
Let's
chat
roll.
is
We
just
got
Ravens.
Big Town Sports in the back. Zach, what's going on? man?
What's going on, dude?
Fellas, this is bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like someone called that Charlie Morton wasn't going to be good for the Orioles. Zach, you know who that might have been?
It wasn't me. That's for damn sure. I thought he'd be serviceable at least.
Yeah.
I mean, look, anybody predicting this bad, I'm not sure anybody could have seen this coming.
No. He what do you do to him? Did you really? You got to look him in the eye and be like, "Hey, bud, can you go look in the mirror? Like, the
And
writing is on the
unfortunately-
wall."
Unfortunately, I think he is after last game when he's making comments about, I have to ask myself if I really even can do this, if I really have it anymore. It seems like he's already at, which I'm not sure is good or bad, that he's going out there pitching after he's blatantly said to the public, like, not sure I can do this anymore, but we're trying. We're trying to see. That's not the message I think the fans want to see.
And what's worse is like the hitting is, I don't
It's
want to say it's
so-
pathetic, but
Especially with runners in scoring
Yeah,
position.
runners in
it's
scoring
non-existent.
position is pathetic.
It is. And I literally, I just posted a video and I just went and looked at like the entire organization. This is an organizational issue. Like we just suck top to bottom.
It's so sad. All I can do is
so
laugh.
sad.
Like, yeah.
Like Norfolk's okay. They're pretty respectable in their league, the international league. They're pretty much within like the top 6, pretty much every category. But Delmarva, Chesapeake, Aberdeen are like 10 or below in everything. And it's like, I don't know if like organizationally they decided to let's not try to hit as many home runs, but they're just hitting the ball on the ground everywhere.
Yeah.
They're not striking out a ton like they were last year. They're not walking still. They're just hitting the ball on the ground. How do you fix that?
And it's just every year it seems like it's something new. Last year it was massive situations. They were striking out. They don't. Last year you don't lead or set the record for least amount of double plays hit into. It's because they were striking out with everyone on base. This year they are going to smash last year's pace probably in the first half at the rate they're going on, because like you said, every hit, every contact, it doesn't matter if it's 80 miles an hour off the bat or 120, it's going to be a ground ball right now. And probably at somebody.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard Charlie Morton's quote on his outing. He said, I didn't feel like I was getting beat around the park. I was just kind of beating myself. I mean, he's so defeated. I mean, the mental's gone, it feels like, for him and a lot of the team. And I mean, you know, Zach, baseball is such a mental game. Like,
I don't think he really wanted to play, but it's like when you get offered $15 million,
you have to take it.
Who's going to say no?
Yeah. You have to take it.
He went out and, he gave it his best. If he retires, do they recoup any of that money on a guaranteed contract?
Oh, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
But if you were in his position, would you just walk away from $15 million?
No, I'd make him pay. I'd make him pay me. Yeah. I mean,
it's
the
just Orioles' fault.
The difference, I know, I see a bunch of like Kimbrel comparisons all the time. It's like the difference with Kimbrel was he was actually good first half of the year. It was just he fell off a cliff in the second half. And then it was sunken cost fallacy. The Orioles probably just wanted to try to justify their decision or not pay as much. They wanted to pay him out. And then it got to the point where it's like you can't have him on the roster. The Orioles are in the same exact position this year where they are pitching a man down. They are a man down in their rotation / bullpen, regardless what you want to call Morton at this point.
I think the saddest part is he hit 97.3 today. So it's not like he's lost the arm talent. Yeah. He's lost just in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, and that's the thing is him, overthrowing to get the extra miles per hour. It's not like, okay, he's finding that extra juice and he's throwing 101 and it can hang over the middle of the plate. 97 over the middle of the plate is a meatball. Yeah. He doesn't have the velo or overpowering stuff to where you could just be like, okay, I'm just going to throw my hardest here, go take it up a mile per hour or two and beat him over the middle. If it's 97 over the middle, it's probably going to be in the seats.
Yeah,
right.
It's rough. Yeah. Anyway, fellas, I appreciate you helping me. Let me hop on.
Yeah, appreciate you calling in, man.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
I usually say go O's, but I don't know what to say at this point.
I appreciate you calling in as always.
See you guys later.
Appreciate you, man. Peace. Yeah, I don't know what you say now. Please, Orioles win. I don't know. It's a different saying.
Anything like
please win O's. Please win. Oh, that's what we got to start chanting at the stadium.
Kevin, I said yesterday after the game got postponed, I was like, back-to-back days without a loss. I was like, I think we're back. And then they got 2 losses in one day. Kevin, I'm starting to think I'm the problem. Like, I tweet too many, joking things into the universe, and I think it's just getting...
I think you just need to start live tweeting every at-bat. Do 1 game of live tweeting every single at-bat. And then that may be
pathetic.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Exactly.
Ground out.
Those accounts that are like, there's one about Nico Harrison. Like, is Nico Harrison I forget what it is.
Fired, like
an
there's
idiot
yeah.
or something, or is he fired? And there's just yes, no, you should. Is there an Orioles win account like that? Where it's like, did the Orioles win today? Yes, no, yes, no.
Is Brandon Hyde the manager? Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah, there is. Oh, there were a lot of did the Orioles. Oh my, I didn't know there were like 10 accounts. Oh my.
Jeez, you thought you had an original.
I know. Wow, I really missed the
Ain't
boat
today.
on this one.
Ain't
Jeez.
today. Let's head over to our next caller. We're rolling through these. We got Stephen Walker going on next. Steve, how's it going,
What's
my
up,
friend?
Steven?
Greetings from Delaware. Oh my God. Well, at least the Eagles had a good draft. I can go ahead.
Yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, yes, they did. They always find a way.
They always find a way. How he does it.
Man.
But man, I kept saying this is a carryover from last year, from last season, the last part of the last season. They've been trying too hard to make things happen, and it's showing. And they're getting defeated and dejected.
They're pushing hard.
They're pushing too hard. It's not fun for them. Back in 21, when they were coming up, they were having fun.
Mhm.
Now they're not.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if Rubenstein wants to get people to spend money at the park, he needs to put a winning product on the field.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
And the only way talent is going to come to Baltimore is through trade. Free agents are not going to come here.
Yeah. Especially, I think big time free agents, if it's between, you get into a bidding war. One, if you can even
With a
get
big
in the same
name
ballpark, you're not gonna. If you're offering the same thing that the Dodgers or the Yankees are offering,
right?
Odds are they're gonna head.
They're going to go to a bigger team. Period.
Yeah.
Or they're going to go close to home.
Yeah.
One of the two.
But it's
It's
just
what
like,
happened. It's what happened with Burns.
Yeah. It feels like they've just blown a lot of their assets. Like they still have stuff to work with, but I think the only true untouchable right now should be Basayo. I think Kobe has to be on the table.
Kobe's on the table. Everybody else is on the table.
Right. It's not making a move to make a move, and you the one thing you cannot do in trades is be desperate.
Right.
Teams will run you in circles if you are desperate. But the issue was that every team in the MLB knows the Orioles need pitching right now. So
and
they will try to
milk.
They're
trying to ask for the moon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why wouldn't?
And why wouldn't they?
If I have a good, like if I'm Miami and the Orioles call me right now, I'm going, okay, Sam Basayo and Kobe Mayo. And when they go
Seattle.
And when they go, no, I'm going, all right.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
Better luck next year.
Yeah, we can get the moon for this guy. You won't need him. And you talked about everyone pressing. I think that's the biggest thing. I do find
it's all mental. It's all
I don't think it's a coincidence that who are the two guys that through all the ruts have been consistent, the two best players. It's O'Hearn and Mullins. It's the two veterans. It's the guys who have been through adversity, who have had to get knocked down and get right back up. Both guys are journeymen.
Mullins was in the losing streak. He was here early, and quite frankly,
O'Hearn was a bench bat in Kansas City, getting DFA'd left and right. Mullins was sent from, he was performed so bad in 19, they was sent from MLB all the way to, I think, double single A.
Yep.
These are guys. And he had to go from a switch hitter to, just batting lefty. These are guys that have been knocked down and know how to face adversity. I think for a lot of these top prospects, the Adleys, the Gunners.
We're young, and they haven't been through it.
First time. This is their first time truly getting knocked down, and I'm not sure they know how to respond right now.
No, because they've been given the world, and quite frankly, they haven't been battling through adversity yet.
This is for some of them. This is the first time they're not even the best player on their team in their league.
Right.
Yeah, it's rough.
They got the talent in the world. They just aren't performing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
It truly is. Awesome. Steven, appreciate
you, man.
Calling in. We'll catch you next time, my friend.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Awesome. And actually, I could not agree more to this comment. Ryan O'Hearn plays like he's going to be DFA'd tomorrow. Every single at bat, he scraps and claws for. Like you cannot.
He's a dog. He's an absolute dog, man.
I mean, and I'll say this: was on the, I think we're still on that assumption of with Kerstead, with Basayo, all that. Okay, this is the last year of O'Hearn. If he continues to be like this, why don't you offer him a 2-year extension?
Yeah, you might as
because
well.
If he's going to be the veteran bat that's going to be the only consistent thing in this lineup, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, did you see the Detroit Lions draft pick who told the Lions that he would die on the field for them when he was getting his call, and then someone said, "Little does he know, Dan Campbell will actually let you."
Yeah.
Actually,
Campbell
Steven brought up a good point there. Did the Orioles ascend too quickly? It's a legitimate question. Did the Orioles ascend too quickly?
Their first year of now I won't say relevancy of okay, we're going to compete. They won 100+ series.
I'm actually I don't know. I don't have an answer either way. I'm just curious about what people think.
Yeah, that's a very good one. But real quick, let's go on to our next call, and we got Ray behind there. So, Ray, what's up, my guy? How's it going?
Today was the most important day of the Orioles season so far.
I agree with that.
They win one game. They go 1-1 today where they started the day. They win both. They're 2 games below 500. And you're kind of back to where you were before the 24-2 game. Yeah. The pitching is less concerning right now than the hitting. We know the pitching isn't any good. This offense is supposed to be elite. And look, I know Gunnar, and everyone thinks I hate Gunnar. I love Gunnar Henderson. But when he misses the first 7 games and everyone's like, oh, it's Gunnar, he'll be fine. Well, we're 20 games into that now.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I mean, it says a lot about where the team is that the pitching can be this bad and the hitting is more concerning. Like, it says so much about where they're at. And even like the fielding hasn't been good either this year. Like, all 3 phases have just been bad.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last 5 games, the pitching's given up 22 runs, which when you really think about it, isn't that bad considering how rough the pitching's been.
Yeah, it's true. It feels like the thing about this pitching staff is they will spread out their hits and walks where it'll be like, oh, 2 on, no out, and they'll get 1 run out of it. Or bases loaded, no out, they'll get 1 run out of it. And then the offense is only able to score 2 runs, and they lose like 3-2 or like 4-3 like today. Like it's the same script every time. It feels like the Orioles barely come out on top.
The frustrating thing too is I don't think the Tigers are any good when I watch them, but they do everything correctly. They have a great manager. I don't.
They overperform. They go out there and they are going to win the close games. They're going to be scrap and claw and find ways to win those games. They're the exact opposite of what the Orioles are right now. In close games, they're going to find a way to be on that other side. I mean, we talk back to 2023, what differences with that year. They were like the best team in baseball in 1-run games. They were finding a way to be on the other end of that. Past year and a half, it's been the opposite. It's been the complete opposite. If it's a 1-run game, they're going to find a way to lose it.
I never in my wildest dreams thought that Riley Green would be so far and away the best player on a baseball diamond that had Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman on it. He killed us today.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, that homer alone was just a confidence
that's the second that happened. That was it. Man.
The catch he made on Laureano.
Yeah.
I mean,
that save. I mean, if that at least, because they went on to score another 2 that inning or another 1 that inning, would have at least been a tie game,
Yeah.
Are we getting to the point with this offense where we need to play Urias every day?
It might be.
You might have to.
He's the only one that seems to be.
We are not even in May, and we're getting this desperate. It's just it's sad, man. Like, it'd be so much different if there weren't expectations. And again, depending on like Ray and everybody else, like how you felt about the team with the moves that they made. Obviously, Zach and I weren't fond of the rotation moves they made, so maybe your expectations got lowered because of that. But they were still at least supposed to compete. This is not a competitive team right now. They're not even in the same stratosphere as some of these competitors. I mean, as I said, I truly believe they're playing like the worst team in baseball, and it's not really close right
now. I would agree with you. I mean, my expectations this year were they were going to be a wild card team, win 85 to 87 games, be good enough to trade for somebody at the deadline, a pitcher that we needed. I mean, no one that I know thought that Morton was supposed to be our number 2. Is if they build it as Morton is going to be our 5, that's fine. And Hyde tried something different. Morton wouldn't be on the team if Gibson was healthy this weekend. Is what I got out of today. The fact that they started Aiken tells me that he was going to get DFA'd for Gibson.
It's about time. Yeah.
Which he should.
I mean, he's had a good career. His career is over.
Yeah, he's been
like
very,
it's
very
not his
good.
fault that they offered him $15 million while he was contemplating retirement.
I'm not blaming Morton. I'm not blaming Morton. Like, yes, it's been rough. It's cost the Orioles games. It's caused things to spiral. But if you had someone sitting in front of me and said, "We'll give you $15 million for 6 months of your time," I'm going to say, "All right, I don't care what I'm doing. Let's go do it."
100%. I mean, and something about it too is Gunnar Henderson last year was walking at an elite rate. Adley's starting to walk a little more. Mullins is starting to walk a little more. But having base runners doesn't mean you're a good offense when you can't get big hits. And you hear McDonald on the broadcast, the Orioles just lack the big hit. I'm like, you said that 12 games in a row. At a certain point, something's got to change in the approach. Something's got to change. I mean, we're 26 games into this season. We're almost a fifth of the way through the year, and we're 6 games under 500.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, they've had opportunities. I think that's the biggest disappointment and frustration is it'd be one thing if they were just flat out bad. They're getting the opportunities and they're just falling on their face every time they have a chance. They'll keep themselves in a game until the very last second, and then they won't get it done. It was as much as this game felt like it was out of hand. Lose 6-2, whatever. It was 3-2 for this was a ball game. This was a very, very winnable game for Baltimore. They are literally 1 out away from this being 3-2 going into the 8th. So that's what's even more frustrating is they had the opportunities and they just couldn't get it done. So, Ray, appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, appreciate you, Ray.
See you guys.
Ray. So we'll catch you next time, my friend.
Appreciate you,
hopefully after a win. I keep saying it, but it's going to happen eventually.
Please.
Hopefully after a win. Appreciate you, Ray. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, Kevin.
Yeah, it's deflating, man. Like, you try to get we care so much about the team and, we get fired up about them, but you see this script happen so many times in a row. It's just like, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, I feel that. But let's keep it rolling with our call-ins. We got Gordon up next. Gordon, what's up?
You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, there we
what's
go.
Up?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh my God. First off, how's everybody doing today? That's the real question.
It was better when I was covering the draft.
I know. Look, oh man, I'm just trying to be positive after everything, because that's the only thing that we can do is just try to be positive. But it's just first, the draft was amazing. I loved it. I loved watching the picks that we got, and
I was going crazy on Locked On Ravens. I thought that they did a great job overall.
It was phenomenal, and I'm not going to say the Ravens are hit or miss on their draft picks sometimes, but some drafts you just end up leaving like, man, maybe the talent wasn't there, or maybe we just didn't choose certain people, or there were no reaches this. I mean, I could go a little bit towards the sixth round, but that was a really good draft. Today, I'm looking at that and I'm feeling excited. Like, oh my goodness, bring on mini training camp, bring on rookie camp.
I know, yeah. I think rookie camp is next week. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks at least.
I think it's
like content.
3 more weeks away or something like that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that. But oh man, it feels terrible talking from something so great.
I know,
to something so just demoralizing and just blah. Like, one thing that Brandon Hyde does that kind of irritates me is just, these guys are making good hits and they're making good contact, and they'll break, thinking that we'll break out of the terribleness after. Everybody keeps saying 26 games, because yes, we're 26 games into the season, but we've been doing the same exact stuff from last All-Star break, a couple series before the All-Star break. It's not like it's what you call it. It's not like this is just 26 games. The frustration comes from it being from the All-Star break, and we're seeing the same exact thing. I'm so tired of seeing Gunnar Henderson hit a ball 116 miles an hour off the bat, right into the second baseman's glove. Like after a point, hitting a ball 1,000 miles an hour is not going to get you a base hit. If you got we have to change our approaches, the way that we go up there. Like it's just frustrating because what are our coaches teaching our hitters? And our guys are so young. Is this going to be actually hurting their career going down the line? Everything that they're being taught, is that going to be detrimental to their careers going on down the line? Does Adley need to stop hitting switch and just focus on doing the same thing Seti did, just focusing on batting one? It's so many things with this team that you can blame the players, but after 26 games, not 26 games, after it being 3 or 4 months of baseball season, it don't really seem like it's the players. It's everything else around us, because what are our approaches being taught when we're going up there? Ramon Laureano got a hold of a ball, but it went right into Riley Greedon's hands. But, Spencer Torkelson goes up there, gets a man on third and second, and just bloops one over the short bases, shortstop's head. Why does yes, home runs are amazing and sexy, but getting two on and being on first base or third or second base is just as good, especially when we're down. And I know it's easier said than being done, but every at bat, it seems like we're going out there looking for the long ball, and it just is it's just frustrating. This whole entire team is just frustrating, and it's every little. We're fans, and if we're getting frustrated at bat to at bat, what do you think the players are feeling?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's no, and that's why I think you have to understand. Sometimes I even have to tell myself, there's no one more pissed off about the results of these than the players. They're the ones that are going through. You think about those moments in your life where you're doing something and you fail over and over, and it sucks. And now you're doing it on a public, very, national stage. And, there's no one more pissed off. And I think that's part of where we talk about these young guys needing to get out of their head, because it is the first time a lot of them have failed on this type of stage. So they got to get past it. But we're now 4 months, going back to last year, into needing to get over this, mental block. So hopefully they can figure something out, because if they do get going, we've seen them ride momentum for months.
Literally.
So
it's amazing when we run.
They just get something rolling, because once they get that confidence back and they're like, oh shit, and remember who they are and how to play, they'll get it. They'll get it going. You hope at least. You hope. I'm not saying no season's fine.
Yeah.
But, the talent they have, you're hoping that the kind of the thing you're leaning on is, hey, once they get past that mental block, maybe they put it together, and they are those same players we saw 2 years ago.
And it's I know we went back to I forgot who it was, asking, did we peak too early? No, I don't think we ever peak too early. Peaking is I feel like peaking can be kind of like a season thing if our team peaked too early. And even then, I feel like it's something deeper. I don't think this team peaked too early, because I feel like the management failed them. We had holes. We had holes when we won 101 games, but we had players that were playing with their hair on fire. We knew whose role was what. We always knew. I don't care if it's early in the game or Adam Frazier or whatnot, he gets 3 outs or whatnot, but we know with that fourth at bat, it's going to be a hard and fought at bat, and he's going to put the ball to the bat to at least find the outfield or drive somebody in. People had roles. Rougned Odor just brought swagger. And you see those things, and instead of building on that and trying to replace, you just bring in certain people that kind of aren't those guys, or either just get rid of it and don't even bring it back in, or just replace somebody that I love Tyler O'Neill, but when we signed him, I didn't feel like he was an Oriole. It didn't seem like, oh yeah, that was an Oriole. There are certain people you can look at and be like, oh yeah, if they came to us, they would be amazing with an Oriole. I kind of didn't feel that with Tyler O'Neill. Yes, he has power and everything, but it kind of just seemed like, oh, we got rid of Tony, so it's all right, let's just bring somebody in that has good powers in. But when he's on, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah. But it's just that it don't to be an Oriole, and same thing to be a Raven. Not everybody can be a Raven. You have to play a certain type of football to be a Raven. And same thing with the Orioles. this new era of baseball, you have to have some swagger. You have to have fun. Like at the end of the day, Gunnar is 20. How did he 23 or 24?
23.
Yeah, I'm not going to call them kids, but they're still kids out there enjoying themselves, having fun. And it's just like, like we need that. That's who we are. We won when we were having fun. We won when we weren't being so technical. We won when things weren't analytical. We just won when we went out there and played baseball. And that was the same thing that I said last time I talked to you guys. Like, just go out there and play baseball. Like if you got their professional athletes. I don't know what their sports psychologists. Look, I went to college. Well, I went to grad school to be a sports psychologist, and I kind of switched my thing to whatever now. But like these were the things that I was kind of like learned, and the things that I not taught myself, but the curriculum taught me. But like when people are going through this, you have to find a common ground with somebody, and it's not always just, oh dang, we just got blown out 24-2. That's not going to light a fire under somebody's tail, especially if it's been going on for the last couple of months. Like the last couple of months, a 1-0 loss should just be as much embarrassed as it should be 24-0, because we are the Orioles. Like that name on your back is something, and that name on the back and the front of your jersey should mean something, and it's just, there's something that somebody inside the locker room has to do to click with these guys. And I know it's easier than said to be getting out of your head, but like it's something that needs to be done, and it's more than just getting out of our head, or it's a lot, and it's frustrating because you can't point to something and just be like, oh yeah, the Orioles just need pitching, our offense is good, our bullpen is good, and it's like it's deeper, and it's just so frustrating going out there watching them, and especially when we have expectations as fans, and they have expectations for themselves after being all-stars, rookie of the years, the number one draft pick, and the number one of ones. These guys, expect stuff from themselves, and it sucks because they're not getting the result on the field. But it's like at that point, if it's 1 through 9 struggling, is that really on the players? At a certain point, but or is it? Because I know you got to produce, but what is being taught? And what's being taught to them to get out of this funk? And it's kind of confusing, and it's just like blah.
I mean, it's confusing, it's frustrating, it's everything. That's why it's been for fans. That's why, because it does feel like it's on so many different levels. You don't know where to point. Is this a player? Is this a coach? Is it organizational? Whatever it may be, it's frustrating. Gordon, appreciate you calling in.
Yeah,
dude, I'm telling you, we're going to get on a winning streak soon.
Look, it's going to be amazing. I still think we're going to win the World Series at the end of the year. And look, at the end of the season, at the end of the day, I still don't think that we will ever be as bad as we were when we lost 100 and I forgot how many games, or the White Sox. At least it's not that at the end of the day. It might feel like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate you. I agree, man. Appreciate you.
Yes,
we'll catch you next time, my guy.
All right. Peace out, my guy.
So now we got our last caller of the night. Laura.
Laura just wants to talk Ravens, man.
I'll say one very brief thing about the Orioles. And it's, what Gordon was saying, what Steve was saying. Small ball, baby. Small ball, y'all. What I always say. I always say, everybody wants to talk about our pitching. Dodgers won the World Series with 2.5 pitchers wrapped up in bubble gum. Okay?
Yeah.
We don't have the hitting to overcome that. And that's what they had.
I was going to say,
a leadoff hitter that can get on base, that can steal a base, that can come around when the next hitter hits him in. They have hitters that can take the walk, get on base, and etc. And the next guy comes up and hits the 3-run homer. We don't have that. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Yes, the pitching is an issue, but if our hitters could hit and get people around, we wouldn't be sitting here having these conversations.
I completely agree. I mean, we can talk going into this season. Everyone can talk about, they signed, 3 people out of the retirement home to come pitch for them. Your MVP caliber player in Gunnar Henderson, your franchise altering player in Adley Rutschman. These guys aren't hitting. These guys aren't hitting, and you're not going to win games when you're not hitting, or you're not producing, because we've seen them lose 2-3-0 games. We've seen them win, lose 1-0. We've seen this team get to the point where it's right there, and the pitching does put a good performance out there, and the offense just straight up lets them down.
Correct. No run support. None, 0, zip.
Yeah. It's as frustrating as it gets.
So that's what I'll say about that. So, Kevin, can you give us a little Locked On Ravens preview? What is your draft grade for this draft?
Oh, see, now I know you were. Now I know you were in there. You were in there. I know you were in the.
Now, yeah, because I'm thinking solid B, maybe A minus.
I like it. I haven't gone through fully to I'm gonna do it once I pop off here.
Okay.
We're done with this, so I haven't dove into everybody yet. But what I do know is that the middle rounds, I was getting a little iffy on the middle rounds.
Okay.
And then they brought it back. I think Peebles was, if it wasn't Mike Green on the field, Aeneas Peebles was the steal of day 3 for Baltimore. Every time the Ravens went up to the table to pick, I was like, please have it be Peebles. And they got him at like 210. So I think that saved him a little bit because they did miss out on opportunities to get other guys.
Okay.
But I thought that they got a lot of guys that could potentially contribute. And look, if Starks and Green can have the same impact as your first and second round picks did last year with Wiggins and Rosengarten, I think that's just fine. I think that's just fine. So
okay.
I liked what they did.
What do we think about the kicker?
I mean, NFL ready leg.
What's your kicker tape look like?
Dude,
I mean,
there was a kicker mix. I put out a kicker mixtape. Kicker mixtape. It could go a couple ways. The Ravens aren't afraid to cut draft picks, so I wouldn't be shocked if this is a competition. Then if they do decide, and we don't know what they're going to do with Tucker yet, but let's just say they do decide to keep him on the roster. If that's what they decide to do, then I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to sneak him on the practice squad, because we've seen them cut 5th round picks before they play. We've seen them cut 6th, 7th round guys. So it's a shift from what Ozzie used to do, because Ozzie used to want to give guys a shot regardless. So I don't think 11 picks make the roster. I just think it's too many. It's just too many with the guys. I mean, that's why I was jabbing at Zach. I don't think Ali's going to make the roster this year, because they just need that. They need that spot for someone else.
Right.
It could even be that Ajabo doesn't make the roster. I don't see a spot for him right now. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll see. But I liked it. Once I get my draft grades, I'll put that up on Locked On Ravens tomorrow. I'm excited to do it. So more excited than I'm talking about the Orioles.
Well, that's what I said. I was trying to see if I could get a little teaser out of you.
Yeah, no, I haven't done it fully yet. So I would be in bad faith to give you a grade right now, because it might not be what it actually is. So.
Okay. One more last draft thing. So, I mean, and obviously it's the big news, about, Shadur and Shiloh and everything. So what did you really kind of think about that? Was it really, let me put it this way. Is it what the media puts out there? Is it something else? Or, what do you attribute to that 5th round pick for Shadur?
I mean, I think that the talent is there, and he definitely shouldn't have fallen as far as he did. But, the reports that came out, at least from what I saw, is that he did a pretty poor job in the interview process. There have been multiple clips of him or tweets from him, disrespecting former teammates, or, throwing his teammates under the bus to reporters. And, I'm sure that teams maybe saw that and took him off the board. Now, does that warrant him being a 5th round pick? No, I think the talent is much greater than that. And I think that he should have gotten an opportunity. The fact that the Browns took Dylan Gabriel over him in the first place is ridiculous. And honestly, he's kind of screwed. They screwed themselves. They could have had Travis Hunter, a good 3rd round pick, and Sanders, and they ended up with Mason Graham, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. So I understand why he fell. I don't agree with him falling the way that he did. I think day 2 pick was probably the sweet spot for him. 5th round is I think the Browns did get a steal. I don't think he starts year 1. I think Flacco probably starts, and then they kind of figure it out. But, even there are reports about did Dion cause this? Because, he was bashing the Browns and bashing Flacco during the draft. And I don't that's not fair to Shadur if it is, if that is true.
Right.
But, it's people expect him to go too early in the process, and they go get him at 144. So kind of crazy to think about.
All right. One last thing. Zach, we have a new travel show.
Oh, I saw. We'll have to start vlogging.
I'm just saying. I mean, just kind of, put that out that we want vlogs. We want a channel. Another show under the Ryan Ripken Media Empire.
Empire, yes.
You
We'll have to
know,
get something in the works there. We'll get something in the works there.
I
For
mean,
you.
she already got the title. We already got the title, so let's go. Molly and
We'll
Molly
get
on the
something
road.
going.
Molly and Molly's big adventure. Molly and Molly's big journey. Come on, we got something here.
We'll get something
here.
cooking up. We'll get something cooking up for you, Laura. Don't you worry.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome, Laura. Appreciate
Awesome.
you.
Always appreciate you calling in, Laura.
Always a pleasure, guys. And we may or may not talk tomorrow.
Oh, we will see. We will
Maybe
see.
I'm win or not.
Appreciate you,
Awesome.
Laura.
All right. Bye, Laura.
Kevin, it's been a rough one.
Yeah. I love every time, man. We say we're going to go 20 minutes and then go an hour.
It always happens. Always happens. But anything else you got?
That's all I got, man. Avoid the sweep. Show some life.
Avoid the sweep. Yeah, but that's going to do it for this edition of Kevin Zach React. Orioles lose both games of the doubleheader tomorrow. We're back at it, though, tomorrow, or lose it today. Back at it tomorrow. Dean Kramer versus Tariq Skubal. Whoop, whoop. Woo. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll be back here right after the game. And, yeah, I just hope it's a win. Appreciate you all for tuning in. And we will see you next time for another edition of Kevin and Zach React. Mike Bauman.
Wow. Scott Feldman.
Oh, okay.
Goat.
Opening day.
Goat.